with this alpine backdrop. On the banks of Lake Geneva is the fantastic city of Lausanne, the home of the International Olympic Committee and indeed World Archery. Welcome to the second stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup here at World Archery's Centre of Excellence. Now, the weather has played its part over the week, but it's been pretty good today. The biggest factor is the moving cloud overhead, changing the lighting conditions for the athletes. I wonder if that continues through this final session on Recurve Sunday, where our focus is on the individual tournaments. For finalists in women's and men's. We start with the women's. Let's take a look at the fabulous Final Four. Well, there we have it, Audrey Odysseum against Ksenia Perova, but we're going to start with Svetlana Gombaeva against Elisa Unruh, all looking ready to rumble. These beautiful alpine cottages dot the hills around, but our focus is on this schedule. We start with the two women's semi-finals, followed by the bronze and gold medal matches, and then it's a case of rinse and repeat as we switch over to the men's individual competition. Like I say, we start with the women's semi-final, and this is how the final four got to the semi-finals. Odysseum beating a favourite here, Michelle Kroppen, to make it through to a semi-final against Ksenia Perova. And there's another Russian, Svetlana Gombaeva, in her debut event, going up against the German Lisa Unruh. And in fact, here they come for semi-final number one. Lisa Unruh of Germany, the world number 17, is 33 years old. She goes up against a Russian debutante, the 22-year-old world number 77, Svetlana Gombaeva.
Representing the Russian Federation for her first ever appearance on the World Cup circuit, Svetlana Gombaeva. And her opponent, shooting on target number 2, representing Germany. Please welcome the Rio 2016 Olympic Games silver medalist, Lisa Unruh. The line judge for this matchup is Tanvir Ahmed.
Well, here we go, a tale of two halves here with Lisa Unruh benefiting from the delayed Olympic Games, recovering from surgery on an injury, up against a debutante, Svetlana Gombaeva. I'm Karen Bashir, and joining me for this finals session on Recurve Sunday is world number one, former world number one, Nikki Hunt. Nikki, brilliant match to start with.
Fantastic. Youth versus experience. Who's going to shine through?
Yeah, you've got to say a favourite here is Lisa Unruh, and she will get us underway. This for a place in the Recurve Women's Gold Medal match. We can see a clear headwind, but didn't put Unruh off. Starts with a 10. And Nikki, in these early stages, just explain how the scoring works for individual recurve.
So the recurves shoot on the set system. It's a best of 5. So each archer is going to shoot 3 arrows in that set. If you win, it's 2 points. If you share it, it's 1 point each.
9.
It's going to be a measured 8 for Gombaeva. Unruh starting very well.
9. 9.
Lovely grouping, just a little high. She has put this one out of reach, Unruh, and she will take those first 2 set points.
9.
As just about to correct myself because had Gombayeva scored a 10 there, it's possible that 9 could get marked up, but out of reach for sure, and 2-0 to Lisa Unruh. So you're saying 5 sets. What's the target score then for the winners here? What are they looking to get?
So it's best of 5, so the first person to 6 really is going to be the true winner. If they do split sets and they end up at 5-all, then we're going to see a shoot-off, and that is the closest arrow to the middle.
Good start from the German here.
Yeah, lovely grouping. Just needed to make a bit of a change to a sight there, and yeah, fantastic group. First end in this semi-final.
Debutant Russian here, Gombayeva. Looking pretty confident, but obviously very happy to be in the semi-finals. And it will be the Russian who will shoot first in set number 2. She's shooting on target number 1 down this 70-meter range, purpose-built facility, state-of-the-art in Lausanne. What better place to hold the second stage of this Hyundai Archery World Cup.
Nine.
I'll just say that that's gone left 9, and Unruh not happy with that, but she's clearly made some adjustment from the first set.
Yeah, you can see on the front of Lisa's bow she has a little bit of string there, and that gives her an indication of what's happening with the wind with her on the shooting line.
Pretty handy for us as well. We can see exactly what's going on when we get that shot. Opportunity here.
9.
The 9 gives Gombayeva 27, so Unruh needs a 10 here to draw level. Well, the Russian gets straight back in. It's just an 8 for her. Curious little set for Lisa Unruh, shooting a 25, having shot a 28. So we're all square at 2 set points each. Now I say curious for Unruh. Great for Gombayeva. Let's not put that to one side. She's got the 3 9s to get a 27 and get her points. Well done to her. But Unruh clearly made some kind of correction from those first 3 arrows going right in the first set.
Yeah, they've just opened up, haven't they, left and right? So coming into this venue, sometimes it's a little uncertain of exactly what's happening. The way it's been set up with this sort of temporary venue, sometimes the wind can swirl a little bit. We haven't seen much of that so far. We also mentioned the light conditions have changed a lot over today with the cloudy conditions we've had. So lots of factors that can make small differences, and we've seen that with arrows going out into the 8 and 9.
Now, you know that I'm a man of patterns. She's gone a little bit right for the first set, a little bit left for the second set. I'm expecting Unruh to be right in the middle in set number 3. She's back on level terms now, having had the lead. So it will be Unruh to shoot first in this third set.
Nine.
9,1 rechts.
9.
9 na 2.
Everything so far from both archers, just a little bit high of centre. You know, we have seen a little bit of tailwind at times. Again, if there's a change from the different venues they've come into here.
8.
So, another opportunity here for the German. You can see that bit of string that Nikki was talking about blowing towards her. Gets over into the 9 for a 27, and that could be matched here
9.
with a 10, but it's only a 9.
Similar situation
And
here on target number 1 for Gombayeva with that final arrow, just
an
like Unruh.
opportunity again for Unruh to break away in the 4th set and do this before the regulation 5th set, but she is 4-2 up. One thing I have noticed, Nikki, is the front arm of Gombaeva. You've talked about this before, about actually sort of pushing the shot out, and you can actually very clearly see that with Gombaeva.
Yeah, we're looking for a balance front and back, so I think a lot of people initially think with archery we're pull the string, but once you get into full draw, it's really trying to get that balance, that front arm versus that back arm, and you can see that bow going forward out the front hand and almost breaking a little bit left. So you can see the action here again.
Very noticeable straightening of the arm there.
Yeah, and that's important to get that balance.
Lovely pictures there to demonstrate that. Gombaeva trailing now again. She fought back the last time. Let's see if she can do the same in set number 4.
10. 9.
Just saw a little movement, little sway forward as she shot that arrow, which, you know, is probably why it went right there in the 9.
Wow. I wondered whether she was going to fight back again. Well, looks like she's putting down a message of intent here.
9.
12 Uhr, 9,2.
A little bit of a shrugging of the shoulders there from Lisa Unruh. That does not bode well for her.
7.
27 in the end was all that Gombaeva could muster with that 7. So here it is. Shrugged her shoulders after the second shot. A 10, and she's in the final.
9.
It's a 9. Not quite enough to take the 2 points she needed, but they will share the points, and Unruh now, all she has to do is match her opponent in the 5th set to make it through to the bronze medal match. Impressive couple of arrows from Gombaeva though at the start of that 4th set.
Yeah, she had to build the pressure there, didn't she, to come back, and she did. But there was just a little movement as before she released that 7. You could just see something happen in the shot. I'm going to show it here, but something changed, and you could just see that it wasn't going to be quite as good. But Lisa kind of got frustrated after that second arrow. You know, what can I do to make this 10? See that little movement there? Something changed just before she shot that last one. But then Lisa got the door back open, and the opportunity, you know, she could have taken the set right there, but a 9 to split the points.
Yeah, it's a case of you have it. Oh, no, you have it. No, there was a chance there for Gombaeva to put that well out of reach, but Lisa Unruh did enough to share the points. She still holds a 2-point lead. This is the 5th and final set. Gombaeva will shoot first, so has the opportunity and the necessity to put some pressure on her opponent with some big scores.
10.
And there is a brilliant 10 to start. Unruh just has to match her.
9.
But no 10s so far from Lisa Unruh in this match.
10.
Fantastic shooting here from the Russian, and you can see the feedback from the coach, giving her, you know, that positivity. It's hitting the middle. Good job. Keep going.
8.
Wow. An 8 from Gombaeva here is enough to draw things level.
Oh, 10,
But
10,
it's
10.
a perfect 30 from the Russian. It's her debut, and now we're seeing just a little evidence of why she's made it this far.
9.
Back into the yellow ring there, and another 9. Tellingly, no 10s for Lisa Unruh throughout the entire match, but Gombaeva seems to have started to centre in on that 10 ring.
She looked so strong, didn't she, in that last set? You know, really positive shots, really comfortable in what she's doing. You know, she's young, she's come in here, had a fantastic tournament, and she's, you know, look how positive she is right now. You know, we've got 1 arrow now each. Closest to the centre, and I think, you know, the momentum is with her right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. The Russian was strong. In fact, it was in those last 6 arrows, 5 of them were absolutely spot on, not just in terms of the score, but the process that she went through. That little minor error for the 7 at the end of the 4th set, but otherwise it's been 10s for Gombayeva. And now Lisa Unruh faces a big task. She's had mixed emotions through this semi-final. She's been pegged back twice. Gombayeva putting down a perfect score in the 5th to force the shoot-off. And Lisa Unruh will shoot first. They're just replacing the target faces. Range declared safe to shoot. This shoot-off, 1 arrow for a place in the gold medal match. The first 10 of the match. What a time to bring it out. Can Svetlana Gombayeva get closer to the X? That is close, Nikki. Your thoughts?
I can't call it from here. That looked extremely close, didn't it? So what will happen now is if they can't visually see, the judge is going to go in there with the calipers, and that's why we've changed these brand new target faces. Well, actually, I think if that was Lisa's there, I think Lisa's slightly further out.
I think you're right, and I think it was Lisa's Unruh's arrow that's just a little bit higher in the ring. But yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it's just I mean, we're talking millimetres, aren't we?
I think the stadium announcer there just said 3 millimetres in it. So,
well, there you go. 3 mil is the difference between making it through and giving yourself a chance of a stage win on the Hyundai Archery World Cup circuit, and having to dust yourself off and shoot for bronze. Unruh drops into that bronze medal match, but Svetlana Gombayeva has really put down a marker on her debut here in Lausanne.
Yeah, fantastic performance. You know, such a young archer coming through straight into here. Really solid performance. We're going to see a lot more of her.
We certainly are. And the very near future as well. A lot of people have been keeping an eye on her this week. Svetlana Gombayeva here on her debut. A promising junior, but right onto the scene here at senior level at her first Hyundai Archery World Cup, and could take a stage win here and book herself a place in the finals. Incredible performance from the Russian. Some fabulous shots, in particularly in the 4th and 5th set. And I don't think she could quite believe that she'd won that by 3 millimetres. Gombayeva into the final. Now it's time for the second women's Recurve semi-final. Leading them out, it's Russia's Ksenia Perova, but shooting on target number 1, Audrey Addition.
On target number 1, representing France for her first career Final Four, Audrey Addition. And her opponent, shooting on target number 2, representing the Russian Federation, a former champion of the world, Ksenia Perova. The line judge for this matchup is Bettina Kratzmüller.
Well, here we go. Debut Final Four for the French archer Audrey Addition. Ksenia Perova, well, she's got pedigree, one of the leading Russian archers. Your pick for this one, Nikki?
Again, this is another youth versus experience. I think I would just tip Perova on this one, but it's going to be really close.
Yeah, and another interesting factor here is that Addition is the 4th member of the French team. She knows that she's not going to the Olympic Games, so all the pressure is off her here. And will that result in a fantastic performance. Women's semi-final. Place the gold medal at stake. Addition begins with a high 9.
Nine. 8. 10.
Pereva using her first arrow, the 9, as a sighter to get her into the centre. Addition drifted further away with her second, back closer to the centre, but 26 for her.
9.
And it's a 28 for
Right, so
Sinia Pereva.
The
Russian takes the first 2 set points. I don't want to call it a shaky start from Addition, but something's not quite right.
Yeah, I think she's showing a little bit of the nerves, but you know, they're all just high. Just needs to make that adjustment and then settle down into the match. But you know, not a bad start for her.
Interesting look here at the grip. What are we looking at right there?
So you can just see the arrow rest, the clicker, the bow sat in the bow stand. So these recurves are fairly technical as well. We've got little plungers on the side. As the arrow comes out the bow, it does a little wobble left and right, if you like, and it goes into that pressure button so that it clears the bow beautifully, hopefully, without touching it at all.
We get a good shot of Sinia Pereva there. She shoots with a little bit of anger, but whilst not having the highest arrow values, she is a serial winner and is 2 set points up here. Set number 2, Audrey Addition, trailing by 2 points, will shoot first.
8.
Well, all high in the first set. And the first one perhaps shows a bit of overcorrection.
9.
I see a little bit of movement there from Pereva.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of wind we can see happening as well. Yesterday that made quite a big impact on the compound archers.
9.
You see Pereva's fingers here, so she's got top 2 wrapped, her 3rd finger's off the bowstring really, so they're doing all the work, and that's why she's protecting those a little bit.
10.
First 10 for Addition and a 27 for her. You can do the maths here. Another chance for the 2 set points for the Russian.
9.
And she has got them with a 28, consistent 28 for the Russian, and she is 4 set points up. And we talked about Addition in the last break. Let's talk about Pereva. She's won 2 World Cups, both of them in Antalya, so it'd be nice for her to win a World Cup stage elsewhere if you're in her camp. But she does shoot with a little bit of anger, and a lot of people say she doesn't get very high scores, but she's very consistent.
Yeah, she's been around for a long time, really decorated athlete. She won silver with the team in Rio Olympics, and a former world champion as well, so absolutely tons of experience. You know, she knows how to shoot, she knows how to perform in these really high pressure Final 4 matches.
She certainly does. She's 4 set points up as well, so it will be over to target number 1 and Audrey Addition to shoot first in the 3rd set. It could be the last as well for her in this semi-final. Quick shot, and perhaps the best starting arrow for her, very close to the 10 ring. Well, it may well have been Addition's best arrow. It was also Sinia Pereva's best arrow of the entire match.
10.
Just look at Pereva's alignment. Look at that elbow right round the back. It just looks so relaxed at full draw, letting the bones do the work.
9 or 10. Too close.
Very close there. Yeah, we're going to wait for a judge call on that arrow.
Not marked for a measure though. That's another 10 from the French archer. The best score so far from her, a 29. Needs a 10, Perova, to match her.
9.
Gets a 9, so a 28 again for Perova. Now, if that second arrow is going to be measured, now it didn't have an asterisk on the scoreboard, but that doesn't mean that they won't have a look at it. There is a potential for this to get promoted to a 10, and that would mean level points. I wonder what's going through Audrey Adission's thinking at the moment. She's either got 2 points and got herself right back in the match, or she's sharing the points.
Absolutely, we're going to have to wait for that measure on that arrow just there to see what they're going to call it. But yeah, maybe a nervous wait, but the match isn't over either way, really. Well, no, even with a tie, we're going to go to the next set. So, as an archer right now, you need to just keep calm, keep cool, stay in the process. It doesn't really matter what's going on out there. So, I'd want to be chatting with my coach right now, trying to be relaxed and calm. And just get ready for the next set.
Well, you called it absolutely spot on that was too close to measure, and in fact it was marked up for Perova. She did get 29 points, and they have shared the points. It is now 5-1 to the Russian. And the key thing here for Adission right here is that prior to that call, the 2 points just it really does make a difference, because Perova has to go on and win a set. Now she doesn't. Now she only has to level. Marked for a measure, the first one, but there is a mistake, and you saw the reaction from Perova. Any signs of technical issue there?
Couldn't see much different with that. Obviously, she knew as soon as it hit that something was wrong.
Well, that 7 could already have put this one to bed. 26 possible for Perova. So 7 here from Adission. Well, she gets a 10, well out of reach for her. Notional 28, subject to that first arrow being measured. It doesn't really matter, though, because Perova can only get 26. She does finish with a 10, good for her confidence going in to the next set. But for the first time, Adission has got herself 2 set points. How quickly things can slip away with just one arrow.
Well, this is it. This is the set system. So, every time we start again, it's a fresh end. So, get out there, shoot the best you can, and have those points. So it's never over until it's over.
Into the gold medal match. She needs another set win moving into the final set before the potential shoot-off.
Facial expressions of the archers, and you see Ksenia Perova there. She does shoot with anger, fire in her eyes, as she calls it. But actually, a great character when it's game face when she's got a bow in her hand. But when she hasn't, she's a great laugh. Needs to find some way of just relaxing herself, forget about that 7 at the beginning to put herself back in the box seat. Adission has got herself 2 set points now, 3 in total, and will shoot first.
8.
Well, this time it's the French archer who's potentially dropped the ball with an 8.
10.
Pressure now on the young French archer.
9.
Still making minor adjustments as well.
9.
Really could do with a 10 here to get some pressure on her opponent and get 27. Long hold.
Do you see the tip of the arrow on the clicker there? She sort of went forward and back. She sawed it just a couple of millimeters either way. She just couldn't get through the clicker. No, otherwise, such quick shots.
Well, 6 is required for the win, just to draw level. She shoots a 9, takes the points in their entirety in the 5th set. 7 set point 3 win for Ksenia Pereva. She was favourite for this match. It proved to be a slight challenge towards the end against Audrey Addition, but Ksenia Pereva is into the gold medal match where she will face her teammate and debutant at a Hyundai Archery World Cup stage, Svetlana Gombayova, an all-Russian final. So happy days for the Russian Federation. Audrey Addition will have to just kind of settle her nerves a little bit because she's going to be straight back out for the bronze medal match against Lisa Unruh. There we have it, the 2 semi-finals done and dusted.
And let's give a solid round of applause to both archers for a stellar performance.
It wasn't plain sailing for Ksenia Pereva. She did shoot the better arrows overall, of course, and even some of the individual arrows were better than Audition's, but Audition showed some promise and some fight.
She absolutely did. I mean, 2 ends of 29, you know, some really good stuff in there for her first appearance here in the Final Four. So again, I'm sure we're going to see much more from her. She talked about being on the train. She might not stop at Tokyo now, but she's certainly on the train to Paris.
Yeah, good point. Paris, just 3 and a bit years down the road for Audition, but she'll have to get herself ready for the bronze medal match. That's coming up very soon.
A few moments after for her semi-final defeat here, just a couple seconds to regroup somewhat, and then we'll be bringing you this bronze medal match.
So the 2 semi-finals are done in the Recurve women's individual, and as we can see, Ksenia Pereva coming through the semi-finals, 7-3 in the end against Audrey Addition, and she will face Svetlana Gombayeva in the final. But first, it will be the losing semi-finalist Lisa Unruh from Germany against Audrey Addition for bronze.
As we get ready to welcome yet again the archers to the field of play. And she is back for more, just lining up right here at the shooting line. Ladies and gentlemen, shooting on target number 1. Representing France in her first career Final Four appearance, please welcome Audrey Addition. And their opponents, shooting on target number 2. Representing Germany, please welcome the Rio 2016 Olympic Games silver medalist, Lisa Unruh. The line judge for this matchup is Tanvir Ahmed.
Brilliant announcement from the stadium announcer there, building them up. First Final Four for Audrey Audition. She must have felt like 10 foot tall when she heard that. And then they go over to her opponent, Lisa Unruh, Olympic silver medalist. So we've got, you know, 2 very, very good athletes out up front here. You've got to fancy Unruh though, haven't you?
Yeah, but you know, sometimes being the underdog, you've got no pressure on you. She's just here to shoot her arrows. You never know.
Got a smile on her face, Audition. It's the standard stern-looking Lisa Unruh, serious about her game, who will get us underway.
9. 9.
A little bit more of a relaxed Audition compared to her semi-final.
A little bit of wind being shown on that string on Lisa's bow.
10.
Solid start to this bronze medal match. A 28 from Unruh. Does mean a 10 would be the points for Audition, and she has indeed got the 10. a 29. A great start from the French archer. And Nikki, she just looks more, look at the smile on her face. We didn't see that in the semi-finals.
Yeah, I think the pressure's been alleviated, hasn't it? We saw that last end in the semi-final. She couldn't really, she was just struggling to get through the clicker, sort of soaring through the clicker. Those shots were so smooth. The timing was just lovely. It was fast. You know, you watch the best in the world, the South Koreans shoot fast arrows, and you know, there's less time to have mistakes there. And if she can maintain that time, and I think that's going to be key. So let's see, you know, can she keep that consistency and that strength in her shot?
Of what life is like as an international archer.
It wasn't a bad set from her. Brilliant shot of that arrow travelling the 70 metres. And a real view of the arc that it goes down with that shot from behind. But it was a much more relaxed Odysseum, who took the points in the first set. Unru, trailing, will shoot first in the second.
Could you see a bow arm? Just as she released, she sort of pulled the bow arm to the right, so I think she knew it was going to go left.
And it went very left.
9. 8.
Not happy. Gone over the other side, Unru. So has Odysseum. I wonder if the wind has changed direction.
Yeah, we can see a little bit, and again, with that string on the front of the bow, but fairly good conditions.
10.
Well, one left, one right. Of course, there was always going to be one in the middle, but a 24, very achievable here. A 7 to draw level. Anything more? 4-0.
9.
It's a 9 and a steady 26 from Odysseum. Having shot a 29 in the first, she shot a 26 in the second, but it's enough to take the set points. What happened to Lisa Unruh?
She obviously knew that first arrow was going to go left. There was definitely a breeze on her. We saw her body move a little bit, so she tried to make a correction after she shot that first arrow, but obviously it just wasn't enough. And then maybe she just lost some confidence on where to aim, and then went the opposite side, and then finally, you know, thought, I'm just going to go for it, and shot right down the middle.
And this is the thing about the 1v1 setup there, is that wide left into the blue. You don't often see that from someone of Unruh's caliber. But whatever keeps you relaxed, I guess, Audrey Odysseum. But she only shot a 26, the French archer, but it was enough.
It was enough. Her last arrow, though, did you know, it was slower. She was at full draw for longer, and we did see that through the last match. So can she maintain her timing?
Yeah, perhaps a bit of stamina is being called upon here. Lisa Unruh has to dig deep into her reserves. She's 4-0 down. And we'll shoot first in set number 3. Well, that was so good. It went into one of the previous holes in the 10.
8.
Looked like a nice shot, but just missing the 9.
Again, it's all about taking the opportunity for Unruh.
9.
Links 9.
It's enough.
9,15.
Quicker shot.
9.
So a chance now for Unruh to put this one out of reach. And 9 is enough to secure the 2 set points.
9.
And 9 is what she's got. So she's on the scoreboard, Unruh. Still an important arrow for Odysseum.
8.
She's dropped that low into the 8. Now those 3 arrows were all over the shot.
So set number 3 is on.
Yeah, they were that last one low. So she's just got to regroup here. You know, I think the pressure maybe of being able to win this quite quickly maybe have got to her, and you know, reset yourself now. Go back to what you were doing before. Coach has given her good advice there. Keep it moving, keep it going. I keep saying it, but her timing is really key. When she shoots those lovely smooth shots, they're so much better, and you can literally see the hesitation. We've got a fantastic view here with her being left-handed of that arrow under that clicker, so that draw length indicator. So when that falls, there's a subconscious reaction of the archer to maintain their back tension, but just relax their fingers on the string, and that arrow then leaves the bow.
The world's greatest archers. Moving into the following set, Lisa.
Good close-ups. You can really drill into the technique and see the little differences between the archers. But it's a 4-2 lead for Audrey Audition. So Lisa Unruh still shoots first. Signs of a big comeback in the previous set.
Nine.
9,9. Links tiefer. Ja, 7 Uhr.
8.
Well, faster shot, but going low. Just note the wind is from behind them now. 10 meters per second.
8.
Tiefer.
The point of noting that is that it's changeable.
8.
Perhaps an overcorrection that time from Audition. 10 puts this one out of reach and draws Unruh level.
9.
Just wide, but it does mean Audition needs a 10.
10.
Oh, she gets it as well. It was a nice quick shot again, and a 26 plays 26 means the set points are shared, and it's 5-3 to Audrey Audition. Nikki, Audition got enough there with that final arrow, but there wasn't too much difference between what we saw in the first arrow or the third arrow, and perhaps even the second arrow in that. But yet, there's a difference in where they end in the target. What are the factors?
I mean, it's so precision at 70 meters. You know, one sort of degree of difference makes a huge difference down the other end. But sort of interestingly, she went low on her first arrow, then Lisa went low on hers. She probably wasn't aware that had happened. It might have been a wind condition or something in the stadium that made the arrows drop, but Audrey then made a change, and then the next one went high. So, you know, you've just got to trust and adjust, and it is difficult if there are changeable conditions. You know, it's not extremely windy here, but changes are difficult.
Yeah, certainly are. And you actually had a great shot there of Unruh turning around to her coach and asking, is that arrow low, that first one? It was. But shared points in the fourth. We'll go into the fifth. Lisa Unruh 3-5 down, needs to win this one outright to stay in with a chance of the bronze.
7.
Not a great start. Big opportunity here from Audrey Audition.
9. 9.
Rechts 9 oben.
Both those arrows there, I mean, they look fairly similar, don't they? But just high and right, can't see a reason why that one would pop up into the 7.
9.
So Unruh's job here is to put down the biggest score she possibly can. Mini advantage already with Audition.
10.
Into the 10 to finish. So a 26 for Unruh, and as you can see, 26 is all Audition needs to win this.
Watch the clicker. Did you see that movement again?
8.
So she came to full draw and there was this little soaring movement, but
Well, there you have it.
it looks like it was enough.
Just about enough. She needed that 8 to take it. She is so delighted with that bronze. Her first time in the final 4. What a brilliant gesture from Unruh. So happy for someone nearly 10 years her junior. Seeing that emotion is what we've all missed as sports fans around the world, whatever sport you follow. Seeing scenes like this, and this is for a bronze medal that she's celebrating like that, is absolutely fantastic. A nervy final arrow, but France's Audrey Audition has taken bronze in the recurve women's here in Lausanne.
One more match to go, of course, on the women's side.
So that shaky last arrow, tell us more.
Yeah, you could just see again the arrow right at the edge of the clicker, and she just stalled a little bit, and that's why we saw the 8 again, I think. And you know, she's just got to work a little bit. It's a bit of nerves on that final arrow when the pressure's really there. Let's see if we can see the replay.
Yeah, I'm sure you will pick it if we do.
There we go. So watch the arrows under the clicker. The draw length indicator comes into full draw. See the tip of it now coming back. And then, oh, that was I don't think that was the last one, you know, because that was beautiful right through. Let's see again.
Yeah, look at the difference in
Now look, look. I think they're showing the best ones.
Yeah, but look at that response. Absolutely brilliant from Audrey Audition. Completely letting herself go there and celebrating as all can see. A coach delighted for her as well.
You know, she writes a blog for World Archery, and she wrote in that blog that in 2020 February, for the French team, she came second in the selection. You know, if the games hadn't been delayed, she could be, you know, in that team. And for her to come back with this year and achieve that bronze medal was just, you know, so good for her.
Time for gold here in Lausanne. Ksenia Pereva of Russia takes on her teammate Svetlana Gombaeva.
Target number 1, representing the Russian Federation, the former champion of the world, Ksenia Pereva. And her opponent, shooting on target number 2, representing the Russian Federation, for her first ever appearance in a gold medal match on the World Cup circuit, Svetlana Gombaeva. The line judge for this matchup is Bettina Katzmüller.
Very different stages of their Russian journeys. 22-year-old Svetlana Gombaeva is the world number 77, but this is her debut Hyundai Archery World Cup stage, up against Ksenia Pereva at 32 as a former world champion. Now, you would normally say you'd favour Ksenia Pereva, but we just don't know enough about Svetlana Gombaeva. I think there is a very fine margin between these two. Add to that, they're both from the same country, an intramural affair. Gombaeva to shoot first.
8. Nine. Nine.
9/6 далекая.
9.
What's interesting here is I think there's only one Russian coach stood behind the younger athlete, and you can hear her giving her feedback and helping her, but no one behind Pereva.
Скорее всего, 9/9 часов. Там, говорите.
Yeah, there you go. Getting the signal. Pereva, though, settling into that shot. She shoots really fast, but has gone into the 7 there. And a chance to take it has been given away by the more experienced Ksenia Pereva. I am astonished with that. A 2-set point lead for Gombaeva after an 8 and 2 nines. What happened?
Yeah, unusual, isn't it? You know, we've got pretty good conditions here. We've talked about them being changeable. But interesting what she's going to do now between ends as well. But most people, they want someone in the box there behind them where they can just, you know, release a bit. If you're stood there on your own, you know, you can think and analyse, and that's not where you want to be. You can see a reaction there trying to pull it across. So, you know, she's really got to push that reset button, get back out onto the line and, you know, do her normal thing.
Yeah, she couldn't hide her disappointment with that shot, but that does tell me, well, two things. One is she knows she made a mistake and she can correct it. And the second thing is you don't want to annoy an already angry Ksenia Pereva. She's 2 set points down after the first set. Pereva will shoot first in the second.
10.
That is the kind of response we were expecting. A 10 from Pereva.
8.
8-3. Далекая.
7.
Nearly hitting the spot of the last one. You know, I wonder if there's something technical there she's done and just repeated.
9.
9 на час. Близкая.
Well, as you can see, all square, so it's just down to this one arrow now from each archer,
7.
and it's same again. Well, here's a big opportunity for an unexpected big lead after 6 arrows.
8.
She's put it into the 8. It's just about enough. A 25 plays 24 in this intriguing battle between 2 Russians, Gombayeva and Pereva. Okay, you called it, you spotted it, hitting the same spot 3 times now. What is going on with Pereva?
I can't quite see because there's no big issue. As she comes into full draw, there is a little tiny little movement of her hand into her neck, which we might see in the replay, but there's nothing really that stands out as being, you know, a big problem. But these tiny little things can make a big difference down the other end.
Yeah, she gets into full draw pretty quickly as well, and as you've mentioned earlier, looks very relaxed. She doesn't look like she's holding a huge amount of poundage.
I think that in the replay there looked a little bit what we call soft. She almost sort of, the movement of the fingers went forward before they went back, and going left is often a release error.
Well, there you go. Good analysis of why 3 arrows have gone high and left into the 7 for Ksenia Pereva. She finds herself in a big hole here. 4 set points to 0 down in the gold medal match. Time for set number 3.
8.
Left again, not quite as bad, but I wonder if Gombayeva can smell the victory here. Remember, winners of each stage have booked their place at the Hyundai Archery World Cup finals in September in Yankton in the USA.
She knew it again. You see that arm come straight across as soon as the shot went off, just trying and correct it. I think there's some sort of a release error happening here, and she's aware of it, but she just can't do anything to correct it.
9.
Well, she needs to find something here to put some pressure on. I think the look on her face suggested she'd given this one away. A 24, a 7 to win here for debutante Svetlana Gombayeva.
8.
And it's an 8. It's enough to take the win and take it in fine fashion. 6 set points to 0. I'm not quite sure she came here thinking she would win. I'm sure she wanted to, but when she saw that she was facing teammate Ksenia Pereva, she was unflappable. She did what she needed to do. It wasn't the highest quality final by a scoring point of view, but very intriguing to see the start of this young archer's journey. Svetlana Gombayeva wins the second stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup in Lausanne and books her place in the finals in Yankton, USA in September, joining Deepika Kumari of India, who won stage 1. What a fabulous winner from Russia. But what a story. I mean, let's be honest, the scores were quite low in all of those sets from both of the archers, but what a story.
Yeah, I think there was just the errors there. If we look at the replays later, but looking at Perova's release hand, I wonder whether that was the issue.
Yeah, so error strewn for Ksenia Perova. I wonder what she's going to be doing. They're changing the targets now as we look ahead to our other matches in this session. More on that shortly, but hopefully we're going to get a chance to speak to the winner. Here she is.
Я верю, я очень рада, что это мой первый опыт участия в Кубке мира, и я выиграла его, я очень сильно рада, и я вдохновлена работать дальше еще больше.
Что было важное, что ты чувствовала, когда ты была 4-0?
Я чувствовала, наверное, спокойствие и хладнокровие. Я знала, что нужно включиться и начать работать. У меня это получилось, и я прошла в финал, и в финале одержала победу.
Как важна эта победа перед чемпионатом Европы?
Очень важна, очень важна. Эта победа добавила мне уверенности в себе. Я очень благодарна вообще этому месту, вообще, что в принципе провели Кубок мира. То, что у нас есть шанс потренироваться еще на других стартах перед чемпионатом Европы. И спасибо большое федерации, что мы в Швейцарии и стреляем Кубок мира.
Спасибо большое,
Спасибо.
очень известный результат.
Спасибо.
Well, I'll have a go at translating French, Spanish, maybe a bit of Italian, but I'm afraid my Russian is limited to spasiba. I think you can safely say that she's very happy with her win, and I think from the facial expressions, despite her wearing a mask for obvious reasons, showed that she was very happy with the performance. A debut win for Svetlana Gombayeva in the Recurve women's individual. Question marks over the error-strewn Ksenia Perova. Perhaps if those errors weren't there, it wouldn't have been quite as easy for the young Russian. A rueful smile there. I think she knows that those scores don't usually lead to a gold medal, but today it was enough, and that's all she needed. Svetlana Gombayeva will be standing on top of the podium very shortly, but more importantly, she's booked a place at the Hyundai Archery World Cup finals in September. And the little that I know of Ksenia Perova, she'll be disappointed with herself, but she probably won't be as disappointed if she was up against someone who wasn't Russian. There's a little bit of happiness there for her teammate having taken the gold medal. Great to see the respect between those archers.
Well, final preparations are underway indeed before we welcome the 3 women archers that performed optimally this afternoon in our medal matches. Audrey Adiseum of France will be here to receive her bronze medal. Ksenia Perova will walk away from Lausanne, Switzerland with a silver medal indeed, and will be welcoming Svetlana Gombayeva for the first time in her career on the highest step of the podium. A beautiful performance indeed for the Russian Federation, walking away with 2 prizes, the gold and the silver medals indeed. But looking ahead at what we have in store for you, this is going to be an exceptional afternoon yet again with some of the world's greatest archers, looking in particular at the currently ranked world #1, reigning champion of the world, reigning World Cup final champion, bronze medalist at Rio 2016, Brady Ellison, seated #2 for this event. He'll be on deck in a few minutes indeed, taking on yet another up-and-coming Spanish archer, 18 years of age, ranked world #214, Yun Sanchez. That'll be another classic case of David versus Goliath. Can the underdog create the surprise of the century in this context and defeat one of the world's greatest archers in the history of the sport? Our second semifinal matchup as well will be a beautiful tale for the ages, with Nicholas Demore representing the U.S. Virgin Islands, being billed himself as the breakout star of the season. up against Maximilian Weckmiller, celebrating his first Final Four as well, breaking onto the world ranking podium earlier on in the season, I should say. So we'll find out much more about those archers in a few minutes indeed. The weather conditions out here this afternoon quite stable indeed. So far, no sign of the rain. That is a good thing for each and every one who was involved in the entire week here in Lausanne, with the rain, the mud, and the muck being very much a part of what happened earlier on. But today, that is all history. Yesterday's history. Tomorrow is mystery. It is all about the moment.
Well, it's a closed-door event here, no spectators, so it's just televised only. I've been wondering why the stadium announcer is there to talk to everyone, but it's clear. He gives me a little break. He's just giving us all the information about what's coming up and the conditions that have been very changeable here in Lausanne. It's brightened up for the finals. I'm guessing that's what the fabulous Final Four in both the women's and the men's would have wanted.
Yeah, I think these sort of conditions, you know, it really is down to the skill of the archer. If it's really windy or really horrible, then it just really opens it up to luck, and no one really wants that. They want to come out here and shoot the best they can and get really positive, confident performances to take with them into the rest of the season.
Yeah, it is all about preparation. Well, not all about it. Of course, it's important to perform well and get the stage win, especially for preparation for that. What's coming up a little bit later on this year, the Olympic Games, of course, is always front and centre of these archers' minds. So we have got time now to go to the medals for the Recurve women's competition. Fabulous here on Recurve Sunday. There's no lack of drama at these Hyundai Archery World Cups.
Medals will be presented by World Archery President and IOC member Ur Erdener. Bronze medal, representing France, Audrey Adicea.
Unbridled passion and emotion. She could barely contain a little jig going up onto the podium, but she jumped for joy, winning bronze earlier on, and she's loving being on the podium. Brilliant performance from Audrey Adicea, the start of a very bright future, and one to keep an eye on for the Paris Olympic cycle.
The Russian Federation, Ksenia Perova.
Didn't go all her way in the final. Under par, Ksenia Perova with something to fix in her release. But despite all of that, she was still able to get a silver medal here in Lausanne.
And now, gold medal.
But you want a story, you want to hear about passion and the spirit of sport and what we've all missed. This young Russian debutante Svetlana Gombaeva has come up to this event and put down a massive marker by winning gold in Lausanne. She will be at the World Cup finals in the Archery Hub in Yankton, USA. And by the looks of things, she is something to behold. She is going to be a challenger to anyone. And she's earned herself the right to listen to her national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to our athletes.
What a proud moment for Svetlana Gombaeva, beating her teammate Ksenia Pereva in the final to win her first World Cup stage at the first time of asking. Brilliant outpouring of emotions from Audrey Addition, who won the bronze medal a little bit earlier against Lisa Unruh. Fabulous stories throughout the women's final four. The new lineup for our archery coverage. And here we have the results of that to the World Cup rankings. Deepika Kumari, who won out in Guatemala, stays top of the pile, but actually on equal points, level pegging with the winner here in Lausanne, Svetlana Gombaeva. Brilliant stuff in the women's final four. There's more to come though, with the men's individual up on the schedule next. Don't go far, we'll be back for those.
Well, that's it then, ladies and gentlemen, for the women's competition. Indeed, we're now going to turn our attention to the individual men as we have a final four lineup. Spectacular lineup, getting ready to battle it out here on the field of play. And they're all pretty much in the corridor of power, just awaiting for the word go to come and join us and release those arrows. So if you're new to the sport of archery, it is worth reminding you that recurve archery is the form of archery we're watching today. The target face is located at some 70 meters in distance from the shooting line all the way to the target face. So we're talking about a 122 centimeter diameter for the actual face itself. But if you look at the 10 ring, the 10 ring is the size of a CD, DVD, or Blu-ray disc. For those of you who actually know what those elements are. Indeed, everything is all digital today, but nevertheless, it gives an element of comparison just to get a sense of what the archers are actually achieving when they send an arrow downrange at some 70 meters, capable of hitting the 10 ring or the 9 ring on multiple occasions and in succession as well. It just demonstrates the knowledge and the know-how, the capability they have, that sheer, raw, uncanny ability to deliver those arrows time and time again. Of course, some shots will be delivered under more pressure than others. That as well can be an indicator what makes the difference between a super champion and a normal archer, if I dare the term. The super champion will be able to withstand the pressure of an arrow that makes the difference between a victory and a defeat, and get the job done when the circumstances arise. So we'll see what happens this afternoon. We have a lot
of flying high here in Lausanne. It's Recurve Sunday and the individual tournaments. The women's competition is over, and we turn our attention to the men's and their fabulous final four. Well, another set of big stories here. Jürgen Sanchez of Spain up against the massive favourite here, Brady Ellison of the USA. Nicholas de Moor of the US Virgin Islands, the breakout athlete of this year, up against another new face, Maximilian Weckmüller. This is how they got to the semi-finals. No mean feat for de Moor and Weckmüller, coming through very tough quarterfinals. Sanchez, the young Spaniard, has fought his way through here up against the, well, bang on, nailed on favourite, world number 2 currently, Brady Ellison of the USA. Fabulous four here in Lausanne for the men's. And this competition has been delivering throughout. That is for sure. History being made on a number of occasions with world firsts. And what better place for those things to happen than the heartland, the homeland of the Olympic Games now. Lausanne, home of the International Olympic Committee, and indeed home of World Archery and this fabulous purpose-built state-of-the-art World Archery Centre of Excellence.
Let's hold our horses a little bit. We'll get to know a little bit more about the archers in a few
time for the first semi-final in the men's competition.
Joined us as we get ready to welcome
The line judge is out and the coaches are also out. That means it's time to hand over to the stadium announcer to welcome the athletes out. It will be nailed-on favourite Brady Ellison of the USA going up against Hyundai Sanchez of Spain.
Now the athletes coming on deck to the field of play. A classic tale of the tape once again, a young up-and-comer against an established, one of the world's greatest archers ever. Ladies and gentlemen, shooting on target number 1, representing Spain for his World Cup debut, please welcome Hyundai Sanchez. And his opponent, shooting on target number 2, representing the United States of America, currently ranked world number 1. He is the reigning champion of the world, reigning World Cup final champion. Please welcome the one and only Brady Ellison. The line judge for this matchup is Tanvir Ahmed.
Well, here we go. David versus Goliath has been said once before here in Lausanne. That's certainly the case here. World number 1 from the USA, Brady Ellison, is an absolute favourite for this. Going up against young pretender from Spain. He's just 18 years old, Hyundai Sanchez. Now, Ellison won his first World Cup stage in 2010. Here, he's going for his 9th. He is the world number 1. He is the reigning world champion. Nikki, has Sanchez got a chance?
It's definitely youth versus experience. I think sometimes the underdog's got the lesser pressure, but I probably think Brady's going to be triumphant here.
I think you may well be right, and it is Brady Ellison who will shoot first to get semi-final number 1 underway.
9. 5.
Well, I think you could probably put that down to nerves.
8.
Yeah, maybe some nerves, a bit of a long hold coming off a practice field. It might be different to this field, so he's really got to, you know, if that was a good shot for him, trust and adjust, move his sight and hope that this is going to be nearer.
8.
It's near the line though, so it could be a 9. It's been starred as well.
Well, let's park him up to 14. That means a 7. Means guaranteed points for Ellison. It's a 9, which puts this set out of reach. 3 arrows so quickly for Ellison. And he's coming away with his first 2 set points. Important arrow for Sanchez here, though.
9.
And a good finish from him gives him
Well,
confidence going into the second set.
In favor of the American archer,
Trust and adjust.
989, the sum total of 26 and
Pray tell.
to get the job done in
It's a great saying from a former coach of mine, Lloyd Brown of the USA, in his American accent, trust and adjust. So basically what that means is, like, if you came out here and you shot a really good shot and it went right 8, move your sight, you know, trust what you did, that you just shot a great shot, move your sight, because the faster you can make that change into the 10, the less points you're going to lose. So he had that set to sort himself out. You know, he's lost that first one, fine, but we're going to reset now and he's got a chance to come back. So, you know, get back on it and trust it and go shoot the best arrows you can.
And just to be clear what you're saying, if you shot a great shot, some people maybe don't know a lot about archery will say, well, it's not a great shot, it's gone in the 8. What you mean is the process that you go through to from the drawing of the arrow through to the release. The archers want to repeat that time and time again. If they're happy with the process and it went into the 8, then adjust. Great, love that phrase. I think I might be nicking that. Trust and adjust. The Spaniard is behind. He's not the one that we expected here in the final, perhaps, but he is here. He is behind by 2, but it's 0-0 on the score sheet for set number 2.
8. 10.
Wow.
Dead center.
Now that is going to be a worry for Sanchez. Not just in the 10, not just in the X-ring, on the spider.
9.
And it is getting better for Sanchez, that's for sure. But the problem is Ellison is dialed in.
Yeah, great shooting now. Probably going to expect to see lots of 10s in this match from Brady.
Nine.
Well, you can do the maths yourself, but is Ellison going to get a perfect? That's what we were all asking. It's a 9, but a 29 of high quality in his 4th, 5th and 6th arrows of the 2nd set there. 4 set points to 0 up. Ellison's going to do this in 9, isn't he?
It's possible. Let's see, you know, Yun might well come back. You know, he's having a chat with his coach there about what to do, what to change. You know, what can he do, what can he learn here? That's what's important. This is a big stage. Come out, and if you don't win, learn. What can I do differently next time? It's going to make me better.
Get a good view of the technique, especially with the front arm there. It looked to me that Sanchez, as he released, his arm dropped down, whereas Ellison's is pushing out. Interesting to see if there's a repeat of that in set number 3. Could all be done in the next 6 arrows. Ellison 4 set points to 0 up. So Yun Sanchez, the 18-year-old from Spain, will shoot first. First appearance in the final 4 for Sanchez. Nerves played a part at the start, but he's still in it.
Seven.
Another long hold. I think, you know, he just needs to keep moving. He's chatting to his coach there, getting some confidence from him.
9.
You know, archery is a very dynamic sport. You don't sit at full draw static. These archers are very tiny amounts of movement, still going, pushing and pulling the bow.
Notable that Ellison was disappointed with the 9. It was a little away from his other groupings, as you can see, high and right, but still in the 9. So it's very, very likely now that Ellison is going to take this in 9 arrows.
8.
And all a bit low for Yun Sanchez. Place in the gold medal match?
9.
Yes, it is. 3 9s and a 27 to win for Brady Ellison by 6 set points to 0. Look, the second set was absolutely brilliant from Ellison, but there were signs there that there's an opportunity against him today.
Yeah, he's not that happy. Obviously, you know, he's not just thinking about this match, he's now thinking about that gold, and he wants to come home with gold from this competition, and, you know, he knows he's going to have to up his game in the next match. It's going to be a tough one, so, yeah, he needs to go away. He's got some time now whilst the other semi-final happens, and just regroup. His positive affirmations that he normally goes through, just get his mind back in gear.
Well, the favourite is through to the gold medal match, and that is world number 1, reigning world champion Brady Ellison from the USA. The 32-year-old will have his eye on the prize, but also certainly wants to book his place in the World Cup final in Yankton a little bit later on stage. And it does take the pressure off, doesn't it, winning a stage? It does mean you can relax for the rest of the season.
It can do, but, you know, Brady is here to win. You know, he ended 2019 winning everything possible with the Olympic Games the next year ready to go, and there's obviously been this big break, so it's really important for him to come back here, get on top form. He was pushed out very early in Guatemala in the first round that he competed in. He had to buy the first round, so he's got to come back here and prove to himself and everyone else that he is the man this year.
Signs of it, but he's not entirely happy just yet. He did do enough to win the semi-final here against Yun Sanchez, and Brady Ellison will go for gold later on here in Lausanne. Sanchez will be back out for the bronze medal before that. Not over yet in terms of the semi-finals. The final 4 did include those 2 we've seen already. Yun Sanchez of Spain making his first appearance in the final 4 up against the experienced Brady Ellison. Experience winning the day in that semi-final. We've got some new faces in the other semi-final. Nicholas Damore from the US Virgin Islands, ranked 20th in the world at just 19 years old, is the breakout athlete of 2021, but going up against another new face in terms of seeing him in the final stages, the 26-year-old German Maximilian Weckmüller. They're just waiting in the wings to come out. Now, we saw in Guatemala Atanu Das of India taking the title there, booking his place at the Hyundai Archery World Cup finals. But it was a different Final Four. Daniel Castro taking silver and Angel Alvarado taking the bronze medal. Complete mix-up here as we slowly get back to archery. Final preparations for the last couple of opportunities to qualify for the Olympic Games. Individual places available at the European Championships in Antalya in a couple of weeks' time, and then Paris, the last stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup. But here we're at the semi-final stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup Stage 2. And it's the Recurve men's semi-final between Nicolas Damour and Max Weckmüller.
Representing the U.S. Virgin Islands, the man being billed as the breakout star of the season, Nicolas Damour. And his opponents, shooting on target number 2, representing Germany, a man who broke onto the world ranking podium earlier on in the season. Please welcome Maximilian Weckmüller. The line judge for this matchup is Bettina Katzmüller. Well, this is our Recurve semi-final matchup number 2. Who's going to go where is the question I like to ask at this point. One of these archers will head into the gold medal match and square off with Brady Ellison, and the other will head into the bronze medal match and face off with Yun Sanchez. Who's going to go where?
Here we go.
Let's find out.
Nicolas Damour of the US Virgin Islands has really burst onto the scene as we started to return from the restrictions of the past 18 months. Max Weckmüller has had a brilliant tournament here in Lausanne. It is another one to watch out for. We are going to get this semi-final underway, and it will be the US Virgin Islands, Nicolas Damour, who will get us underway.
Nine.
Solid 9 to start off with for Nicolas Damour.
Eight.
Right 8 for Weckmüller as his sighter.
10. 9.
So opportunity to take the early points here.
9.
And it's a second 9 from him for a 28.
So on that arrow, you heard it click quite early, but he held and then shot later. That's quite interesting.
Oh, keep an eye out for that. The 26 in the end for Weckmüller. Recovery from the 8 early doors, but he did a little bit of overcorrection and then had to correct again for the third arrow. That would suggest that perhaps he's got his eye in now. But it does mean that Damour has taken the first 2 set points.
So yeah, you know, that last arrow of Nicolas Damour, as I say, he just came through too quick, and you only got 20 seconds to shoot your arrow, so he didn't have time really to probably come down, set up again, and go for it. So he just continued to hold and shoot. I mean, you can do that, but the idea there of that clicker is it's a draw length indicator. So if you were to pull the bow back further, you're going to give more power to the limbs. It's going to send the arrow higher in the target, and if you were to go forward, you can have less power in the limbs, and it might go low. So that's why it's so important.
Great insight into the use of the clicker. And perhaps, Nikki, you would just point that clicker out when you see it a little bit later on. Not everyone will know exactly what it is, but it's right on the tip of the arrow, right there. If you look to the tip of the arrow, there's something that pings across. That's the clicker, and that's when the arrow is released. Timing of that one?
Yeah, lovely. And you can hear it as well, because often, well, it's a metal clicker with a little plastic tip on a metal plate. That one was shot very nicely.
Hey, connect him up with the pressure point from the bottom, okay?
8.
So did his job with the first one. When you shoot first, when you're trailing, you want to put down big scores to put your opponent under pressure. But the 10 shots followed by an 8, so a 10 here
9.
well, would have put him into the lead. A 9 on level pegging. So this second set's come down to these final arrows.
10.
Good result for Max Weckmüller. A 28 does put the pressure on De Moor. A 10 to level up and share the set points.
10.
Oh, that's a great 10 as well. And a 28 for him. So he keeps that slender 2-point lead, but crucially gets a little bit closer to the target score for a place in the gold medal match against Brady Ellison.
Yeah, what a positive shot when the pressure was on him. Not only did he get a 10, it was really near the spider, that tiny little grey X you can see right in the very centre of the target.
We get a really good view here, the slow motion, seeing the technique of the archers. We get a good view of that, certainly that push that Nicky's been talking about with the front arm, of locking it out as the arrow is pushed towards the target. And everyone's calling De Moor the breakthrough athlete of the year. He certainly proved it by making this final four, and he's tantalisingly close to making, I think, what the neutral would call the dream final here in Lausanne, having seen the final four, wanting Ellison up against De Moor. Weckmüller has got other ideas.
9.
See the difference in the stances. Nicholas De Moor much more open.
8.
That's where their feet are positioned on the line.
9.
Massive correction. Saves it into a 9. It could have been further left than that without that correction, perhaps.
9.
So a 10 puts this out of reach, and Weckmüller back on level terms.
9.
Gets a 9, so a 27 for him. A 10 is now required from De Moor to draw level on points and share the set points. When asked and when given the opportunity, De Moor is a habitual taker of that opportunity, and that's why he's broken through this season.
Yeah, he's got an incredibly positive outlook. You know, he's here, really, he said earlier in the week, he's here just for practice. He wants to go and get his qualifying place for the Olympics in Paris. So to do that, he needs practice in these final four positions. So that's why he's here. He's not worried about winning this one. It's just here to get experience so he can gain his Olympic space and get to Tokyo.
And in this kind of form, not only can he get there, but he's going to be a contender.
And again, he certainly referenced that earlier in the week, that, you know, that is where his eyes are. He wants to go there and win. And, you know, that sort of positivity, you know, is certainly showing under pressure in this match.
Yeah, and all sports need that mixture of the experience and talent that Brady Ellison brings with the young pretenders that add some colour to the story. And in the case of De Moor, it's not only colour but bags of talent. Weckmüller scrambling to stay in this one, starts with a 9. He's certainly got better since the first set, but De Moor is, well, it's like a puppy at your heels.
9.
We come to the right side now.
Insistent, staying right close to you.
10.
The German doing everything to put the pressure on. De Moor not cracking.
9.
So chance here for Weckmüller now. Can he step up, as De Moor has done in the past 2 sets, and get the 10 to push this one level?
9.
It's a 9. So again, a 10 required. to share the points. And this time he drops into the 8. So it's been a resilient performance from Max Weckmuller. He's had to really battle hard, but after 4 sets, he's got himself level. And a breakthrough archer of the year has demonstrated on 2 occasions that he will take any opportunity given to him, even if it means shooting the 10. But Weckmuller's persistence has brought him level. Nikki, intriguing battle here.
Yeah, it's the first time where he was asked and he didn't deliver. So, you know, is he beginning to crack? Was his mind? He also talked earlier this week about staying in the present and how important that was. So, you know, it's really important now in this 5th and final set that he does bring his mind back to the present. If you start thinking about the future and what might happen, you're not on the task in hand. So I'm sure he's going to reset himself for that.
He sounds like a very mature man for his age, just 19 years old. You can see the focus in his eyes. But Weckmuller has been resilient and gritty. It's all square, 4 apiece, set number 5.
9.
Well, DeMoore for the first time showing a little signs of unhappiness, stretching out the back shoulder. Didn't look the cleanest of shots, but it's gone in the right spot.
Yeah, DeMoore was just going through his release action of that backhand, so obviously something wasn't quite right there for him on that first arrow.
Nicola, every shot for now have been low. You don't mean take care of the situation.
I think everyone heard the coach there, Nicola. Every shot has been low. It's every shot in the 10 for Weckmuller. Real pressure.
Good driving, Nick.
9.
Got it at the right height, but it's a 27 here, and that means Max Weckmuller needs an 8 to win and make the gold medal match. He's hit the 9, possibly a 10, but the 9 is more than enough. I'm sure he wants the perfect 30, but what a performance from Maximilian Weckmuller from Germany. He has had a brilliant tournament here in Lausanne, and the determination demonstrated in that final, in that semi-final I should say, is incredible. 2-0 down very quickly. The first set was over in the blink of an eye, and he's had to battle his way back, sharing the points and forcing his opponent to shoot 10s to draw level in sets 2 and 3. Broke through to level up in set number 4, and then shot his best arrows in set number 5. Weckmuller from Germany is through to the gold medal match. What a performance from the German, Nikki. What a performance.
Yeah, he started slow, didn't he, with an 8, 9, 9, 26 first end, but he just powered on. You know, that's what I said. It's not over till it's over. You just got to keep on shooting those good arrows. And when it came to the 4th set, Nicholas DeMoore needed the 10. He got the 8, and he just didn't really have that confidence in that last end, just pushing them around the 9, and not enough to take us to the tie.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't, and just so impressive to keep his mind clear, having perhaps thought he'd done enough in sets 3 and 4 to take the points. Gritty stuff from Weckmuller. He's going to have to shoot better in the final. Brady Ellison has already found the centre of the target, but Weckmuller did what he needed to do to grind out a victory in the semi-finals. He will go up against Ellison for gold. Nicolas DeMoore will be straight back out for the bronze medal match, where he'll face the 18-year-old Yun Sanchez. Incredible performance from the pair of them in that semi-final. In fact, both semi-finals were great watches. Well, as you can see, the wind steadily blowing today hasn't caused too much of a problem. We'll have the last bit of action here on Recurve Sunday coming very shortly.
All right,
Don't go
so
too
two more
far.
matches to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're delighted to have you all with us this afternoon for the thousands in attendance out here in Lausanne, Switzerland, getting ready for the medal matches this afternoon. Indeed, the tale of the tape once again on the question: the young guns versus against the established archers. Sometimes it goes in favor of the up-and-comers, the young guns. Sometimes, of course, the established archers are capable of producing. They're making the difference in the long run. That's what we've seen this afternoon in individual men recurve action. It was a little different on the women's side of the field of play earlier on. Nevertheless, of course, it maybe is just a question of time before Youn Sanchez and Nicolas Demore go on to the gold medal matches of the future in an unusual 2021.
The final four of the men's here in Lausanne on Recurve Sunday has been thrilling so far. The two semi-finals complete. We know our lineup for the bronze medal match and the gold medal match. And in fact, here it is. An intriguing battle between Demore of the US Virgin Islands and Weckmuller. Saw Weckmuller grind out the victory and make it through to the gold medal match, where he'll face Brady Ellison, who beat Youn Sanchez in his semi-final convincingly 6-0. So Ellison against Weckmuller coming up a little bit later, but first it will be the bronze medal playoff between Nicolas Demore and Youn Sanchez, US Virgin Islands versus Spain. Well, Nikki, we're waiting for the athletes to come out. Can Demore jump back and fight back from that disappointing loss?
Yeah, he will be disappointed, but he's also going to be really focused on getting that bronze medal. So, you know, Youn Sanchez had an under par semi-final, so again, he's not going to be perhaps in the most confident place himself. So I think I would probably favour Nicolas Demore to come here and make sure he takes home a medal.
Well, he delivered twice when he needed to in his semi-final. Was still pipped at the post by Max Weckmuller. Nicolas Demore, dubbed the breakthrough athlete of 2021, needs to show what he's made of here. And I fancy Youn Sanchez will have absolutely no care in the world about this. At 18 years old, it's not unusual to see Spanish archers in the final four at the medal stages of these big international tournaments, but he certainly wasn't the one that we'd expect to make it there. He had a nervy start against Brady Ellison in his semi-final, but came back and demonstrated that he can shoot some big arrows. The second set in particular against Ellison was perhaps his best. They are waiting in the wings in the Capitale Olympique, as it says there, the Olympic capital. Lausanne houses the International Olympic Committee headquarters. I imagine that's been a fairly busy place for the last 18 months. Also houses World Archery itself and this purpose-built, state-of-the-art centre of excellence. Sadly, massively underused for the last year or so, but as we start our return back to archery, we can see that measures have been put in place by the flexible nature that the International Federation take to the sport to allow athletes to compete. It, of course, naturally aligns itself to social distancing, and it being an outdoor sport, but still hats off, especially to the World Archery's Excellence Centre for being able to pull this together in a matter of a few weeks, once it was decided that Shanghai was not a viable venue for this second stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup. They've done a great job here, and we've just got 2 matches left in this stage 2. First up, it's the bronze medal match in the Recurve men's individual, as we welcome the athletes out onto the field of play.
Let's welcome them the way they deserve to be welcomed. Please welcome the athletes to the field of play for the Recurve men bronze medal match.
Well, here we go. It's time for bronze on Recurve Sunday in the men's individual.
Ladies and
Nicholas Demore on target number 2. Yun Sanchez on target number 1.
The U.S. Virgin Islands. The man being billed as the breakout star of the season. This is Nicholas Demore. And his opponents shooting on target number 2. Representing Spain for his World Cup debut as well, Yun Sanchez. The line judge for this matchup is Tanvir Ahmed.
Well, here we go. Debutant 18-year-old Spanish archer Yun Sanchez is here for a bronze medal at his first World Cup, up against Nicholas Demore, who is just 19 and already established himself on the senior circuit here, having arrived in Lausanne. I did notice that he picked up something on the way out the field of play. Did you notice that, Nikki? I've rendered Nikki Hunt, former world number 1, speechless. Lucky charm that Demore brings out onto the range was with him, and he will shoot first for bronze.
9.
Still low, move the side a little bit.
10.
Well, both archers having a little chin wag with their coaches after those first arrows.
Yeah, maybe the conditions have changed a little bit. Just checking where those arrows have landed. I'm not sure they can otherwise see.
It's okay, that's okay. Nothing happened. The wind went.
Demore's coach suggesting the wind blew that one.
10.
This is a confident start from a confident looking Yun Sanchez.
With your front arm. Remember that. Good driving.
8.
We give you the same spot, the 8.
Similar spot for arrows 2 and 3. Massive opportunity we expect Sanchez to take here.
9.
Drifting over into the 9, but it's more than enough to take the first 2 set points. He looked confident. He looked like he had a bit of a swagger in his step when he came out, Yun Sanchez, and he's carried that through to his shooting.
Yeah, he certainly has. I think Nicholas Demore just looked like he hadn't really reset after the last match. That lucky charm he's brought with him also has a very important role as his bow stand. He's balancing his bow on his side rods, and it's protecting his limb from any damage on the floor, but it doesn't seem to be giving him the luck he needs at the moment.
Always looking for the practical Nikki Hunt. We'll try and shake some fun into her before the end of this bronze medal match. It's a very big lucky charm, that's for sure, that Demore carries with him out onto the field of play. He's going to need it because Sanchez is looking fighty. Demore trailing by 2 set points to 0. And shoot first in set number 2.
Elbow deeper. There we go. 90 degrees. Mental toughness. Good follow through.
9.
9 low again. I'm telling you. Gotta get out of that 9 low. Hey, Nicolai, you keep talking like if you want to aim at 9.7, 9.4 o'clock.
10.
Another 10 for Sanchez.
Strong arm.
9.
Just can't find the centre at the moment.
It's as if he's put the magnets the wrong way around in the middle and they're just deflecting. Longer hold, a few twitches, and an 8.
Yeah, so that's levelled things up here. So Demore all of a sudden has another chance to put some pressure on his opponent. One high and left, one low and right. Definitely right with the angle, but with the height, but just left of the centre of the target. So a 10 will give Sanchez a 4-point lead.
9.
Drops it into the 9, so 27s mean the set points are shared here 3 set points to 1. Anything in particular you're seeing there from Damore in particular?
Well, as we saw in the first semi-final, you know, when he was given those opportunities to take the points, he did, especially in the first couple of ends, and it was interesting he couldn't quite capitalise on that to take those set points. So, you know, he's really got to continue to reset himself. We know he can shoot good shots. We know he's very driven, but Sanchez just looks so calm. You know, the shots are looking, you know, good timing, and, you know, there's not much there that's going to rattle him.
No, and it just started to see signs of concern and as of looking inward. And you talked about being in the present. And perhaps he's sort of kicking himself a little bit too hard at the moment, Nicholas Damore. He has got himself off the board with a single point there. 27s apiece in set number 2, but Damore still trailing. The US Virgin Islander will shoot first in set number 3.
Nicola, 9.1 or 3.
You can hear Nicholas Damore being talked through most of his shot process from his coach behind. Sanchez quite different, just having feedback after the shot.
9.
Nicola, low 9 again.
Might be down to how much these archers work with these specific coaches. They might be the national coach rather than the personal coach, for example.
10.
Well, Sanchez, having dropped into the 8, has got himself back on level pegging. Interesting, Nikki, you're talking about that. You're seeing a little bit of negative reaction from Damore when the coach is talking to him, but clearly the coach is saying something right. A 28 for him. He's forced Sanchez into having to shoot a 10 to share the points.
9.
Just high. And just like that, Damore has got himself back into this. All square after 3 set points apiece. But that communication between the coaches is very, very interesting. Here we see Sanchez talking to his coach, very relaxed. The coach is staying very calm, very composed. Over on the other side of the shooting line, not quite the same. I mean, as you said, Nikki, the Ivory Coast coach is, US Virgin Islands coach is really talking a lot of the time.
Yeah, consistently through the shot, and sometimes that can be really good when you're under these pressure events. You know, you've got someone just talking you through it, because you know if you can't keep your mind where you want it to be, then that's a good reminder all the way through the shot, and that can be really helpful.
But you can see some of the negative reaction there from Damore. He's got a bit of an internal battle going on at the moment. He needs to shake himself free of that, because there's a proper battle on this 70-meter range. Damore has pulled level, 3 set points apiece. The start of set number 4.
10.
Hey, you will do it? Okay, you know what it is.
We're both hitting the 10s to start the 4th set.
9. 10.
Deep shoulder now, really deep. Stop finger. Good job, good night. Take your time, make that top.
He's got it back into the 10, so a 29 from Nicholas Damore, but Ian Sanchez on for a perfect 30 and potentially going 2 points back into the lead.
9.
Ooh, just high, so they square up at 29 apiece in set number 4. 4 set points each going into the 5th and final regulation set. Nikki, quality Suddenly jumped up a bit.
Yeah, I think when Nicholas de Moor finally hit the X in the set before, it's opened him up to the possibility of doing it again and again, and a good 29 from him there, splitting the points, taking us into that 5th and final set. So we need a clear winner here. If they tie again, we'll go to the single arrow shoot-off.
Well, we like those. We
love
don't
them.
mind them. Well, de Moor has been wrangling with his own emotions here, as well as trying to battle Hyundai Sanchez. He's found himself level after 3 and maintained that through 4. Let's see what happens in set number 5. Remember, this is for the bronze medal here at the second stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup in Lausanne.
Good night. Mental toughness.
9.
Low 9 again, buddy. It's a 9. It's a 9.5 low. You gotta control that finger. When you lose your finger in the hand, you gotta maintain it. That was a beautiful shot.
8.
Well, it might have been a low 9 for de Moor, but Sanchez has drifted back out into the 8. All of a sudden,
Mental toughness.
there's an opportunity here.
8.
The door was open and he just didn't want to take it, did he? He just looked so strained by his previous arrows. He needs to get himself back into this match.
Especially with Sanchez pushing it into the 10. De Moor needs a big arrow here.
That go you are. Mental toughness.
9.
He's got a 9. It's a 26. And as you can see, a 9 required for the win. Who knows? Will it be a 8, 9 or 10?
9.
It is a 9. It's a fantastic shot from Hyundai Sanchez. Very quickly delivered, actually, in the end. And he's taken the bronze medal here in Lausanne. 6 set points to 4 against, well, an emotionally struggling Nicholas de Moor from the US Virgin Islands. Spain will be on the podium in the form of Hyundai Sanchez with the bronze medal here in Lausanne.
The target number 2, Hyundai Sanchez, winning the
Nikki, I think that there was as much to do with what was going on between the ears of Nicholas de Moor as there was what was going on between the shooting line and the target in Lausanne.
Yeah, he just looked strained, didn't he? I don't think he ever really came out of his disappointment of losing the semi-final. Never looked comfortable here, never kind of relaxed. Just always looked, you know, even when he did shoot better shots, just kind of annoyed at himself that perhaps he'd missed, you know, earlier opportunities. But you've just got to let it go. You've got to shoot the best arrows you can in this set right now, and that is all that matters.
Yeah, it is all that matters. But this man here, he came out with a bit of bravado, swagger in his step, took the first set very confidently, 29 points to 25, and he looked like he was going to go on from there to peg this one in 9, but it took 5 for him to do it. A fight back from de Moor wasn't quite enough, and Hyundai Sanchez takes the bronze medal. Very, very genuine hug and congratulations both from de Moor and his coach for Hyundai Sanchez, who's picked up a World Cup medal, first time of asking. Now it's time for the big one. Gold medal at stake here at the second stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup, and it's world number 1 and reigning world champion Brady Ellison of the USA on target number 2, who will go up against the young pretender from Germany, Max Weckmüller.
Representing Germany, an archer who broke onto the world ranking podium earlier in the season, please welcome Maximilian Weckmüller. And his opponent, shooting on target number 2, representing the United States of America. He is currently ranked world number 1. He is the reigning champion of the world, reigning World Cup final champion. Please welcome the one and only Brady Ellison. The line judge for this matchup is Bettina Katzmüller. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, in attendance,
Well, Max
this
Weckmüller
gold medal match
is unfamiliar
in the Olympic
with
capital city
this
of Lausanne,
position.
Switzerland.
Not only in the final four here in Lausanne, he's shooting for gold with a bunch of cameras pointing at him and the eyes of the world on
It
him.
is the first time both archers go
And he goes up
in international
against
competition.
someone who does this for
Brady
fun,
Ellison will shoot first on
shooting
target two.
in big matches like this. World #1, reigning world champion Brady Ellison, massive favourite to take the gold medal here and book his place at the World Cup finals. It's Ellison who will get us underway.
10.
11 o'clock.
It was a gritty performance from Max Weckmüller in the semi-finals. Showed some real steel. The thing is, he's going to have to put these into the centre of the target, and that is a confident start from the German. Much needed.
10.
Just out of the exit 11.
Nine.
Maybe just out. I don't know if they're going to star that one. Might be close, but doesn't Brady look on form?
10, 10, 10.
Perfect
score.
start from Ellison. Ominous. The 2 set points are his. I have to say, Weckmüller's grouping, not too bad. Those 2 9s are the difference between the two, but actually, as good as Ellison is, I don't think Weckmüller's too far off him.
No, he just needs to make an adjustment there, doesn't he? You need to utilise your group size. If they're smaller than the 10, just shuffle them across and get those maximum points that you can.
Get a good view of Ellison's technique. And as you suggested, Nicky, that second arrow from Weckmüller is actually subject to a measure. They are having a look at it. It's still not going to be enough for any set points, but will boost Weckmüller's confidence, no doubt.
World number 27. Mad Max Weckmüller shoots first on target 1.
So trailing by 2 set points, German Weckmüller will shoot first in the second set.
9.
9,3 auf 9.
9.
1 o'clock, 9-5.
Just a little bit of a longer hold there from Brady.
10.
All Max. 10,8.
So, job done, leading the order of shooting to put some pressure on your opponent with a big score.
8.
Just left.
Quizzical look from Ellison to coach. And Weckmüller can put this one to bed.
10.
Whoa, 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 look at that. Not only has he put it to bed, but those last 2 arrows, absolutely superb. Will be all square after
9.
the first
Well, there you have it.
and
Weckmüller
second
just staying
sets.
focused on the task at hand, shooting a near perfect score
So,
of 29 to Brady
an
Ellison's
interesting
26 there.
second
We
set
have ourselves
for
a
Brady
tie
Ellison. What
after 2 sets
on
in
earth
this
happened
gold
there?
medal match.
Well, we saw similar things in the semi-final, didn't we? Where Brady came out, shot 26, he then shot 29, and back down to 27. He just spread them around the 9 and 8 a little bit, and you can't really see much difference, can you? Maybe a slight change in the timing that we've talked about before, being at full draw, the length of time before the release, changing a little bit, but you know, not major errors, just enough to spread them out.
Yeah, meanwhile, Weckmüller, who didn't have very big scores in his semi-final, has suddenly brought his A game to the final with Brady Ellison. How much of an upset would this be if Ellison wasn't to win and book his place at the Hyundai Archery World Cup finals?
It would be a huge upset. He's definitely the favourite here to win.
Well, he's been pegged back to all square. Brady Ellison, world #1, will shoot first in the third set.
9.
Same hole as the last one.
Rücken, Ian, nachhalten.
9.
9,5 auf 9.
Ellison's coach said that he put that first arrow into the same hole as the previous one.
There you go.
And the correction has been made and he's back in the centre.
Yeah, if you look at the holes in the target face, Brady's shot a much better group so far. They've just been a little bit high.
10. Auf geht's.
Weckmuller matching him.
Good, strong shot. Good finish.
10.
Well, Brady, we all know, is back with a 29. Can be matched here. 10 from Weckmuller.
9.
Required, it's only a 9, so another 28 for Weckmuller, and the points go to Ellison 4-2. So they've tossed this one about a bit. Ellison going 2-0 up in after the first, Weckmuller pegging back in the second, and now Ellison back on the centre of the target, goes 4-2 up. So what has changed? Well, 26 in the previous round, with the arrows going high, and now nearly a perfect.
The only real difference I can see there is in the shot timing, how long he's staying at full draw, and that might indicate a difference perhaps in the balance of the front arm versus the back arm, and you know, everything's been a little bit high, isn't it? So he's just made that adjustment now to get him back into the 10.
Do you see this being done now in the fourth set, or do we think we're going to see more of the Weckmuller fight back?
I think given Brady's performances so far today in the semi-final as well, there's a chance, you know, for Weck to come back.
Well, we watch on for set number 4. Ellison leading the way as the favourite up against this German who refuses to let go.
10.
X.
Nine.
Just dropping into the 9, an opportunity potentially for Ellison here.
Yep.
10.
On the spider. Show me another.
Fantastic response.
Yeah, what pressure now on Weckmuller. His final arrow needs to be a good one in this set. Just clipping the 10 ring, so a 29. 2 28s and 2 29s, but a perfect score from Ellison in this set will win it for him.
Yep.
Oh, it is gold for Brady Ellison. Normal order is restored in the recurve men's individual discipline with the world #1 and reigning world champion from the United States of America, Brady Ellison, taking gold at the second stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup here in Lausanne. He is going to the World Cup finals in Yankton in September this year. He isn't quite back up to where he was before the restrictions, but he's not very far off. Brady Ellison taking it out from, I'd imagine, a very happy Max Weckmuller. I don't think he would have predicted he'd be in the final 4 here, and he's going to walk away from Lausanne with a silver medal. Not quite there yet, not quite back there yet, but it really does feel like normal order is restored. Brady Ellison wins the recurve men's competition.
What a convincing final set from him. X, X, X. That is what we see from Brady. That is what we're used to. You know, a couple of flutters through the semis, one flutter in the gold match, but generally, you know, Brady is there and he's ready and he's just polishing up on this year, and, you know, he's got Paris to go and then the big Olympic Games.
Yeah, brilliant performance. As you said, finishing so smartly, XXX. It'd be very interesting to hear what he says in this post-match interview, which is coming up very shortly. What we can say is he joins Atanu Das as a stage winner. Let's go and hear what Brady has to say.
Huge congrats, another World Cup win. Was it especially important after Guatemala that it wasn't so successful there?
Yeah, I think I might get the most improved for that, going out the first match and then winning. You know, it feels good. Like, we've been out of competition for so long, and you know, like they're saying, like world #1, world champion, and all that, and then to come on, you want to keep shooting well. You know, you come off of 2019. Best season ever, and then, you know, you want to start this, so it's good to get another win. it's good to be in another World Cup final that way, and just overall pretty excited with it.
You started well. The second set wasn't perfect, so did you have to adjust anything ahead of the third and fourth set?
No, I think this field is a little funny with the wind, and I think you saw a little bit in like our semifinal matches. Everyone was kind of all over the place, and then that wind really died down for our finals, the bronze and the gold, and we were all able to go and shoot a lot better. I shot 3 good ends and 1 not so good, so it was good enough this time.
There are really important competitions coming, Paris, of course, Tokyo. So does such result make you even more confident and believing in your abilities that you can get a gold?
The biggest thing is just being out here and come and shooting the finals matches. The experience, being under pressure, being under the cameras, just shooting that, I think, is going to help whatever. I love this. I love the Final Four idea that we're doing here with the semis and the finals. I absolutely love that. It gives us more experience. I think it's better for the athletes. We get more time on the cameras for our sponsors and stuff. So, yeah, I think all that will help going on, and we still have a lot of tournaments in the U.S. I mean, our Olympic trials start in 4 days, so.
Thank you very much, and once again, huge congrats.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, World Archery, and all the volunteers here for putting on a World Cup here in 5 weeks' notice. Like, thank you, and you guys did a good job.
For Tokyo 2020, that takes place in 2021.
Professional and humble with it. I mean, what a great thing from the world #1 to thank his international federation for being able to put this competition on in 5 weeks. He's quite right to thank them, but he's doing it publicly in front of the watching world. Interesting to hear from him talking about the wind and the changeable conditions that we've talked about a lot, Nikki. But that humble sentiment of perhaps I'm the best improved athlete between the first two major events since lockdown was eased a little bit to allow these things. What are your thoughts about that brilliant insight into Brady Ellison?
Yeah, like he said, he came out of 2019 having won pretty much everything there was to win in that year, on the best form of his life, ready to go for the Olympics. You've got to remember, he's never had that Olympic gold. He's had bronze, he's had silver, he was all queued up and ready in the best form of his life, and then coronavirus hit. So for him, these competitions are so important, to be under this pressure. And like he said, the Final Four coming into the semi-finals and the gold and bronze matches, they get so much more experience of this pressure, which is what they need. You can't recreate that at home in the garden, or at your shooting range. For Brady, it would be in his garden because they have that much space. But that's how much it means to him. He wants to be here, win these medals, go out to the Olympics, and get that dream that he's been after for so long.
Yeah. It's very interesting to see him. He's great in front of the camera when he does interviews because he's got that little level of self-deprecation, that mention of I'm perhaps the most improved between two, talking very honestly about the wind, and also talking honestly about his position and how things have changed as a result of coronavirus. And then it's just really nice to hear an athlete actually congratulate their international federation, and huge kudos to him. He is the winner here, has booked his place at the Yankton Hyundai Archery World Cup finals, and he's coming out to collect yet another gold medal from a Hyundai Archery World Cup stage, his 9th in fact. Lausanne has delivered a competition of great note in just 5 weeks. Stories abound, history being made in the Olympic capital. And Secretary General of World Archery back out to present the medals, Tom Dillon.
Representing Spain, Yun Sanchez.
A couple of teenagers will start off our medal presentation. The 18-year-old Yun Sanchez was world 214 coming into the competition. The Spaniard collected the bronze medal, having beaten Nicolas Demore, the US Virgin Islands, in the bronze medal match.
Silver medal, representing Germany, Maximilian Weckmüller.
Gritty resilience sums up the performance of Max Weckmüller in his semi-final. Just didn't give up against Demore, but it was a step too far in the final against the world #1 and massive favourite. Max Weckmuller gets the silver medal.
Brady Ellison.
But normal order restored on the top of the Recurve men's podium with the return of the USA's Brady Ellison. Congratulations to him. He can relax a little bit in terms of the Hyundai Archery World Cup because he has booked his place as a stage winner at the finals. But as he said, he's got the US trials coming up. Before that, he gets to hear his national anthem.
Ladies and
Well,
gentlemen,
Lausanne
please give a
has
warm
kept
round of
giving
applause
right the way
to our
through till the end. Amusingly, ironically, the weather has played its part. Gusty conditions throughout, very rainy in the qualification stages, and today the light played its part. But just when you wanted the wind to pick up a little bit, when the flags were being hauled up there, masked for that national anthem for the USA, not a jot of a breeze.
Have you heard of the archery gods?
I may well have done.
When the whistle's blown, that's when the weather comes in, and when the final whistle is blown, it all calms down. That's how it works.
Well, this is how things look after 2 stages. Nicolas Demore, look, right up the top there. Breakthrough athlete of the season. Hasn't got a stage win, but sits atop the rankings. Ellison winning here joins Atanu Das in the top 3. Das winning in Guatemala. And look at that. New names, Castro, Weckmuller, joined by Steve Vire in the top 6. A brilliant, brilliant performance from Brady Ellison here. Has booked him a place at the finals. It has been a brilliant tournament here in Lausanne as well. And we get to take a look back over normally sleepy alpine town of Lausanne, dotted with these beautiful cottages, lovely countryside,
the victory ceremony for the Longines Prize
and
of Precision.
amazing wildlife all around. Been filled with lots of technology, not only our cameras but also these bespoke bows. Brady Ellison had the final word in the men's recurve final, taking the gold medal. Nikki, any particular highlights from this individual session?
Yeah, I think for me, Svetlana, really coming through in the last match, that 30, and then the 10 in the shoot-off as well to win that semi-final, and then just seeing Brady back on form, again finishing with a triple X 30 in the end to show he is back this season.
Yeah, and there's the cheer. He's been waiting for that. Didn't quite go to plan in Guatemala for him at the first stage, but he's put it right here in Lausanne. Fist bumps from his coach, and standing on top of the podium once again, Brady Ellison. He's a stage winner here in the recurve men's division, joining Svetlana Gombayeva of Russia, who won the recurve women's individual tournament. And they will both be going to the Hyundai Archery World Cup finals, which has recently been announced to take place, along with the World Championships in Yankton. Nikki, thanks as always for your insight. That's it from Lausanne, but coming up in just 2 weeks' time is the European Championships in Antalya, which we'll be bringing you live through World Archery's regular channels, and very shortly after that we will be going to Paris for the third stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup and the last chance to qualify for the Tokyo Olympics. Thanks to all of you for joining us. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
World Cup 2 is over as we set our sights now.